welcome all. Just a minute. Yeah. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session of ISC2 Delhi-NCR chapter event. Today, we have Mr. I should call him with his salutation, the Colonel Deepak Joshi. I'm Rahul Kuksha. I will be asking a few questions on behalf of my audience to Colonel Joshi. And before we start, I would first want to introduce Mr. Joshi to all of you. Colonel Joshi is an army veteran and who has served the nation, and currently also is serving the nation in a different front. So he has experience in the physical as well as cyber frontiers when it comes to protecting national assets. He not only has the experience in both the worlds, he also has the experience in multiple domains when it comes to the cyberspace. He is an experienced cybersecurity professional, a senior professional, and also taking care of the data privacy domain. Currently, he is responsible for managing the protection of one of the largest databases of personal data being collected and processed at the national level. And it's our honor to invite him today and to get the insights about the cybersecurity and data privacy, how it relates, what are the key challenges. The purpose of keeping this, choosing this topic was many of the cybersecurity people are entering into data privacy. Right? So we need to align or realign our thought process. We need to understand the challenges and the commons in both the worlds. DPDPA Act may be announced maybe in, I believe, maybe within a week or so. Right? This is as per the speculation, as per the news what we are getting, the internal news. So we may soon have the DPDP Act of India enforced. So this is the right time probably to invite such a experienced and a key personnel who is actually handling it at that level, at the level of the where we have the largest database of personal data, and he's securing and dealing with the data privacy experts of this. So welcome, Mr. Joshi, and over to you.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
So, sir, firstly, a big thank to you, Paramveer, sir, and ISC2 Delhi chapter for organizing such informative lectures, because there are many things which are going on. But when we speak of something invaluable at no cost basis, then we have, non-profit organizations like ISC2 and the chapters of ISC2, which help us learn things which are important and timely. And I also extend a very warm welcome to almost 35-40 people who have joined us virtually over the call, and subsequently who get to hear this on YouTube or wherever we host this particular video. So, sir, as you have said that this DPDPA Act is around the corner. So in one particular briefing, the Honorable IT Minister had said that it is going to be there before the next winter session of the Parliament. And in a more recent one, he said that it is likely to be there in that meeting. There was Secretary Maiti also, I believe, on stage, wherein they said that it may come by 28th of September 2025. So we are on 27th today. So as you have said that it may be there maybe sometime soon. So may not be 27, 28, but yes, it is a reality and it is going to be there soon. And why it is going to be there soon? Because when we speak of, say, army or armed forces, then we say that the borders are to be guarded. That is where the country's sovereignty lies and the security lies, that nobody should come inside the border, right? But today, sir, the borders are no more that stringent, because the data is flowing in and out of the borders without any embargo. And when I speak of data, it is the personal data of the citizens of country, which if it is, goes into wrong hands of our adversaries, it can be manipulated, and it can be manipulated very badly. And not only it can be used for commercial advantages, it can also be used for security instability situations in a particular country. Nowadays, we hear that data is the new oil or data is the new gold. We hear that because, controlling data is controlling the minds of a particular country's population. So when we speak of, say, confidential data or sensitive data, as we call it, if I know, say, your sensitive data, I can, to a large extent, I can blackmail you. I can, I can manipulate your activities. I can manipulate your behavior. I can put you into a echo chamber wherein you think what I want you to think, and you can act as what I want you to act. So that is how it is, sir. So data is a very important thing these days, and controlling data of our people is very, very important, because there also lies directly or indirectly the security of our country, and how it has an interplay with cybersecurity. Because when we speak of data privacy or Digital Privacy and Data Protection Act as a whole, I suppose, and many others like me suppose, that cybersecurity professionals, along with some legal touch points, are best placed in a upcoming scenario wherein the DPDPA is to be ensured, because the various things which are there in cybersecurity, they align closest to what we hear as the data protection or data privacy requirements.
Yes,
That is how it is, and my compliments to you for choosing this timely topic when we are sitting in a situation when the DPDPA is likely to be there soon, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you're talking about that, how the personal data can impact. So this reminds me of a very old data breach of Ashley Madison, which led to two members, two subscribers of this website committing suicide because of this
Correct,
data.
sir.
Yeah, this is serious. So fine, Colonel Joshi, from the India perspective, fine, how do you see this DPDP Act is going to change and going to impact the organizations? Fine. So Western world is quite more mature, I believe, and more people are more aware. But Indian context is very different. Fine. So and all the corporates, all the big organizations like telecom providers, and even the hotel industry, hospital industries, they have a lot of personal data they are handling with. So how do you see how this is going to impact the Indian organizations?
Yes, sir. So, sir, firstly, I'll give you some small perspective as to why, DPDPA is there. So it started in early 2010s that Justice K.S. Puttaswamy, who was retired from Supreme Court of India, he had filed a petition. It was in Aadhaar thing, that he said that whether that data collection is in line with the fundamental rights. And on 24th August 2017, sir, the Supreme Court of India ruled that the right to privacy is a fundamental right. So when we speak of DPDPA, it is our fundamental right as citizens of India to have our data guarded, and it is to be used as per our consent and what we wanted it to be used. And it is not a public property which can be used or misused or can be transferred from one person to another. So that is what is the background. So after that, sir, a large number of committees were formed. One particular important committee was Justice B.N. Sri Krishna committee. And then we had the DPDPA through various levels. It was passed and it was, signed by the president also. And today we are awaiting its enforcement. So when we speak of Indian context, we had the IT Act. We have various other, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, as we call it today. There are various clauses in that also with the IT Act in conjunction that can support to a large extent the data privacy or cyber crimes. But the way DPDPA actually captures that can't be dealt with these, I'll say, standalone or fragmented pieces, because when we speak of DPDPA, it gives us the power of consent, and consent is something without which, if there is no legal grounds or a Government of India regulation or act, your data cannot be collected, it can't be used, misused, or something like that. And even when you give a consent for your data, you can always withdraw your consent. For example, if you have given your consent for a particular activity and that activity is over, you can tell that particular organization to delete your data, to return your data back to you. You can copy your data back, and then you can tell them to delete it. So consent is something which was not existing probably, and DPDPA will give the citizens the power of consent. Then there is something known as purpose limitations. Suppose today there is a big group of companies. A particular company in that group takes your data. Suppose it's a big BFSI sector organization which is having presence in, say, insurance also, banking also, NBFC also, housing finance also, and suppose you have gone for a housing loan. And from there, your data is circulated to their other loan departments also, to say your banking partners also, and so on. And you start receiving the spam calls, and people start coming to your house also because they've got access to your address also, and so on. Similarly, that would get curbed. And the data minimization, today we see that everybody wants to collect all kind of data, whether it is required or not required. So that would stop. And the most important thing is that accountability will come, sir, because as of now, when we speak, there is no accountability per se. I'll quote an incident. There was a particular insurance company which had a very severe breach in recent past, and there was a penalty imposed of around, I'll say, 3 to 4 crore rupees on that particular company. Now, had that been, the DPDPA era, the penalty would have gone to 250 crores. And with that kind of penalty and the fear of that, the organizations also take much more, I'll say, deep interest into safeguarding the data, and it's not treated something like, just another thing in an organization. So the mindset will change, and I'll say that the mindset of especially the big organizations which are having multinational operations, they are aligned to GDPR and other data privacy regulations globally because they operate globally. But when it comes to their own country, they start taking it lightly because the fear is not there. So with this kind of an act coming, the kind of penalties which are there, this would ensure accountability, and as a common citizen, we'll get benefited that our data which is there, that would be much more stringently safeguarded. That is how it is, because otherwise it is not possible, sir.
Finally, all these spam calls there's an end to it now.
Yes, sir, because the moment you report that, you can always ask the spam caller company that who gave you my data. And that they have to answer.
They're not going to share that with you.
Because, sir, if you ask them that who gave you my data, they have to tell. Now, suppose on a lighter note, people quote a particular finance company that they call, every day 3-4 times, midnight also, morning also. So you can always, lodge a complaint against them that how they have got your data, so that they will also be answerable. The people who have shared or, sold your data to them, they will also be held answerable. Okay. That would actually ensure a lot of accountability and prevent misuse of data, sir.
Fine. So, Colonel Joshi, for our audience who is primarily from the cybersecurity side, fine. So, and many of the cybersecurity professionals are now moving towards data privacy also, right? And because of the demand and because of the need as well. In many organizations, the security team are expected to deal with the data privacy as well. Even I myself is one of the example. I was handling I was a cybersecurity head, but I was also responsible for data privacy and business continuity as well. So this is like a transition and because of this act being enforced, there would be many more such requirements, many more such organizations will be pushing our cybersecurity professionals to deal with the data privacy. So how do you relate this data privacy with the cybersecurity for our audience? Can you share some light on this?
Sir. So, sir, as I had said initially only, because I am the chapter president for DPO club also for Delhi chapter, and I am associated with ISC2 also. And as you had said, I have done certain certifications in privacy as well. So I am part of various forums where it is being discussed. So what I can make out is that right now there is at the DPO level, if I say, there is a small kind of ambiguity whether the CISO should be DPO or somebody from the cybersecurity background should be a DPO or a legal guy should be a DPO. So that is one particular debate which is ongoing. And if it's a lawyer-heavy community, they will say that the lawyer should be a DPO, and if it's a cybersecurity-heavy community, they will say that the CISO or somebody with the cybersecurity bent of mind should be DPO, sir. So that is at the apex level. But when we speak of, sir, people who need to contribute, who are the actual drivers for this, with my various certifications and with various interactions and being part of such forums, what I understand is that whosoever may be DPO, sir, but he needs either a very, very strong cybersecurity understanding, or the cybersecurity people are best aligned. Now, the reason for that is the origin of cybersecurity aligns closely, and the process and practices of cybersecurity align closely to what is expected out of DPDPA or DPO. Because when we speak of cybersecurity, sir, cybersecurity was adding the data. The only thing which I feel is getting introduced is the processes, fundamental right flavor, which is there with the data privacy, which is not there with cybersecurity. Because when we speak of cybersecurity, cybersecurity was primarily to help the business grow. And when we speak of DPDPA or DPO, it is towards ensuring the guarding of fundamental rights of citizens or customers. So that is the difference. But cybersecurity professionals, by virtue of the various tools, technologies, processes, are already to a large extent catering for what DPDPA requires. The only thing which is not there presently is what we highlighted earlier also, that the data minimization, because that is not what a CISO decides, that what all data is to be collected. Consent, again, the CISO doesn't actually contributes there, whether there is a consent or not. So there are 2-3 these things. The purpose limitation, that also CISO doesn't decide. So these 3-4 things are there. They are to be decided as per the DPDPA and as per the business requirements, the processes. But when we speak of cybersecurity, from time immemorial, cybersecurity have been having the data process flows or the data flows within the organization. A CISO knows that, the data, when a person's AD/ID is created in a particular organization, how he logs on, whether the thing is getting processed through DLP, which perimeter security device it is going, what kind of logs are getting created, what kind of, guarding of these logs are there, whether they are immutable, where they are kept. When we speak of data destruction, it is again CISO who's there. So as a process and as an enabler, CISO or the cybersecurity teams are there, sir. But yes, there are certain additional aspects which are to be included as part of DPDPA. So that we need to include. But as a thumb rule, I'll say that the CISO teams or the cybersecurity teams are best aligned to look after what is expected out of DPDPA, certain inclusions, sir.
So my common observation is, like, in the Western world, particularly in Europe, and I see more of the lawyers playing the role of privacy officers. But in India, I believe that most of a large chunk of lawyers are not even aware of a proper IT. Fine, forget about the cybersecurity. Fine. So from Indian context, how do you see this? Because Indian context is a little different than the Western concern in terms of enforcement, in terms of the awareness. Many of probably the lawyers also are victims of the cyber attacks, cyber breaches.
Yes, sir, because cyber attacks and cyber crimes are actually so innovative that what will a lawyer do? Even certain CISOs are also victim, because the people who are doing these activities, they are 24/7, innovating new techniques, TTPs, if I may call it, that they are at it to identify new techniques. But yes, when we compare with European Union or say US also, or with Middle East, there is a fundamental difference, because this is something which was never existing here. So if today somebody asks that, we need a DPO in India with 12 years of experience or 15 years of experience, that DPO won't be available unless he is imported, because there was nobody who was a DPO, sir. So a CISO can, to a large extent, tweak his resume to say that, yes, I was looking after, as I just narrated, that I was looking after all the privacy enhancing technologies, or I was looking after various processes. There is a common term in data privacy by the name of ROPA, record of processing activities, which is akin to data flow diagrams in cybersecurity. So he can more closely align. But yes, you are right that the way the things are getting floated in India, it would take some time to stabilize. And with that, the CISO team can claim, but nobody else can claim that, yes, we are, aligned to that. And the technologies, of course, nobody has a better understanding other than these teams. So that is how it is, sir.
So you're using a lot of technical words like ROPA and DPIA and all that. So even the data flow diagrams and all, many of the cybersecurity guys don't even create a data flow diagrams. Right? They consider this is a part of the application development, and application should create some architecture and the data flow diagrams and all. So this is my observation. Many of the organizations don't even have the data flow diagrams. So how do you see this as a cybersecurity can help with the data privacy, or is it a different job? Because cybersecurity teams are already we have shortage of resources, right? And in organizations, particularly, they are seen as a cost center, right? Because they're not delivering anything to the business. Right. So, and sometimes we require maybe 5 people, you get only 4 as a part of the organization's budget. So they squeeze you like, okay, that we cannot spend those so much as to the support function. So how do you see, like, will it a extra burden on the cybersecurity guys to look into learn the data privacy first and then look into data privacy? And or is it how do you see this as an enabler? What can be the possible conflicts and how they can support each other?
Yes, sir. So, sir, before answering this question, my advice to all the people who are hearing this particular, the session right now or may hear it in future, first advice is that what we read in newspapers also these days to a large extent that, upgrade yourself, upskill yourself or quit. Today morning only I was reading some particular article in which Accenture has said probably that you either upskill, upgrade, or you leave. So cybersecurity is something, and then we have data privacy, and then we have AI coming in. So while I'll move to the answer of that, my request to all the professionals here is that at least start, understanding the basic terms, because they will be part of your day-to-day working, starting maybe next year, if not this year. If by next year the DPDPA is enforced, then you would be, sitting in forums where these terms would be very frequently used, and then you would be required to answer the questions around them, to understand those terms and give your inputs also. So you need to ride this wave, and this will help you to grow professionally also, because there are various certifications, there are things with which either you can appear for certification, you may not appear, that is your personal choice, but you need to understand those terms, because cybersecurity people would be definitely part of this, whether it is data collection, whether it is encryption, whether it is access control and logging. Because when we speak of encryption, a cybersecurity professional may take it as encryption, which he has been doing for many years now, that AES 256, 128 as per the organizational policy, and the data which he or she is having in its database, they are having encryption. So, but when you speak from the data privacy perspective, it is TOM, technical and organizational measures, which an organization is supposed to be having to ensure that the data is safely guarded. So there may be somebody in your organization who may say whether we have appropriate TOM. Now you would be confused, what is TOM? So TOM is this only, technical and organizational measures. Organizational measures are primarily the policy and processes which are there, and technical measures are the controls which are there. So for example, your encryption, that will fall in the gambit of technical measures. Your access control, your IAM, your PAM, your perimeter security, that is access control. Your logging devices, they are again your technical controls, because in DPDPA or any other privacy law, you are required to show how you are managing the access to data, whether the rightful, people who are supposed to be seeing that data, they are only seeing it, they are only accessing it, or anybody is accessing it. Then logging. People want that the consent should be logged, the access to it should be logged, so you are already doing it. Then there are various anonymization techniques, which again, as per the DPDPA or any other reused GDPR or PIPDA or CCPA, they are there. So you are already doing it. You are doing tokenization in many organizations. You are doing incident response, which will become part of data breach response, because you would be the first responder in that, because when an incident or a data breach happens, you would be contributing to that. So all these terms will be there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I would like to cut short, because we have spoken about many aspects. So I would like to go one by one, like just because I'm getting some insights out of your conversation. So one is like you're giving a hint that that even if it is enforced in the next coming days, but the organization still will get time till next year. That means.
So that
comply with the DPDPA.
Yes, sir. That is nobody can say what kind of time is there. Will they get time or not get time? That is what is the grapevine, sir. That people may get time, because people quote incidents that when the Competition Commission of India enforced their policies, there was time given. So similarly, there may be time given. And the second aspect is that it is primarily for digital privacy. So it is only for digital records. So because when I speak of
like about this anonymization, masking, you're talking a lot of technical concepts.
Yes, sir, because that they are not there in all the organizations, sir. When we speak of anonymization, that may not be there in all the organizations.
But still, like the kind of databases we have, like with the telecom providers, like millions of records they maintain, right? So they also need to make the architectural changes in their applications to accommodate those changes.
Yes, sir.
So
but
what another
yes, sir.
thing I can see from your conversation is there's a huge demand which is like upcoming from the cybersecurity people as well as the data privacy people. But so yes,
Correct,
data
sir.
privacy, the which is non-technical part, can be like easily done by the other departments, maybe the legal department as well, or other departments also, because that is like little non-technical in nature. But there's a huge dependency on this cybersecurity controls, the encryption and all what you're talking about, the Tom, not from the Tom and
Yes, sir.
Jerry,
Yes,
technical
yes, sir.
organization basis.
Sir, sir.
So that is something is it that is gonna come back to cybersecurity team only.
Yes, sir, because a DPO for any kind of thing, he will have to, call CISO only, or he will have to call somebody from the CISO team, because what will he do if he has to, there is a term known as data subject request, or there is, if we say in Indian parlance, it would be data principal, that is you and me. So suppose tomorrow if I make a complaint to Airtel that, delete my data, or I take back my consent from Airtel that I don't require your SIM now, I have moved on to a different service provider,
Okay.
or I want, to port my data from Airtel to some other mobile company. So the DPO won't be doing it, sir. That would finally again come back to cybersecurity only. That suppose if I have given a request for consent withdrawal, that delete
That
my
will be
data.
done by the application or the operations team probably. But yes, the cybersecurity team can go deep dive, look into that it is secured when they're transferring it, how they
Yes, sir.
transfer. So
Yes, sir.
their consultation is always needed by the DPO, by the business, both sides. So they want to
Correct, sir.
speak from
Correct,
both
sir.
sides.
Correct, sir. Correct, sir. So that is what it is, sir. It would be a huge demand because it's a compliance thing. There are heavy penalties. And the first question after any breach is whether you had, A, B, C, D people in your organization. So many cybersecurity professionals who are always on a lookout for, I'll say some roles in GRC or some kind of those kind of roles at the apex level. So DPO would be a similar role akin to GRC head or VP GRC or something like that,
So
which would.
this brings another question: like, can a CISO serve as a DPO?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is a very popular question, sir, which I discussed a little back also. So for big organizations, sir, I'll say that it would be difficult for a CISO to act as DPO also, because CISO as it is not available for his own task. He is
Because
unable
of
to take out time.
my question is little on the skills and the competence
So, yes,
front.
sir.
Like, is it because of the lack of time that CISO are already like busy, fine, with lots of other stuff?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or
There are
is
two.
it because of the competence, because of conflict of interest, or because of like the quantum of the work they have to do?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, sir, I'll break your question into 2, 3 parts. First is conflict of interest, as you have rightly said. So, sir, that conflict of interest, when we speak of CISO or DPO, that is in European Union specific. When we speak of DPDPA as of today, there is nothing regarding conflict of interest. So in India, a CISO can be very well DPO, sir. So first thing is that when we speak of European Union, yes, there also they have not said that a CISO can't be DPO. They have only said that you have to prove that there is
Probably.
conflict of interest. And
So
many people have proven that also. Some people have said, why to get into problem, let's appoint somebody else. Now, where the conflict of interest comes, so the CISO may say that, I want a continuous monitoring on all the assets over the data center, all places, and I want the access logs to be retained for X number of days. However, a DPO may say that the DPDPA says that this particular log should only be kept for these many days. So there may be a conflict of interest, but when I have done whatever study I could do, actually speaking, the organizations don't delete data in time, but when we speak today, even the certain guidelines say for 180 days. But unfortunately, all our organizations keep data till such time the storage, start giving alarm that it is now nearing its overflow level. So then till that time, people keep collecting data. So that is where it is. There may be where a cybersecurity CISO may say that I want biometric, logs here and there. A DPO may disagree to that. That why do you want a biometric log over this device? Why do you want the activities to be logged here?
yes, this
So
is a
that is
wonderful.
the only conflict of interest, sir. Otherwise, there is no conflict of interest. And as I had said, that technically it would be much easier for a CISO to learn a little bit of law terms and become a DPO also, rather than for a lawyer to understand AES 256 and its various cycles and then start encrypting. So when I see myself and after having done all these certifications and having done various other things also and discussions with people, I feel that It is much easier for a CISO to become a DPO by learning certain law terms, other vice versa for a lawyer to learn large number of technical terms and then become a CISO equivalent. So that is as far as competency is concerned, because that is how it is. And when we speak of, sir, the responsibility can be very well taken. And what I was referring to initially regarding the time factor, because if we want to do it very, very seriously, the time, even big CISOs don't get much time to look after all these other things also, because they have back-to-back things coming up. There are technologies which are always on move. Technologies are always evolving, so is the cyber threat landscape. So he has to, as it is, keep upskilling and keep track of all these IOCs, IOAs which are coming in his ecosystem, the PIs which are coming to him, the threat indicators, the indicators of attack, the indicator of compromise in his own network. He is busy with that only. So if you want to give him the DPO role as well, you need to empower him. The European Union's GDPR specifically mentions that you need to empower your DPO. You just can't keep a DPO and then hold him responsible for anything and everything. So a CISO, if suitably empowered, can become a DPO. But for small organizations, I'll say that yes, a CISO can have some time to look after the DPO things also. But when we speak of big organizations, it would be difficult, because in India, we are still not adopted to all, end-to-end data privacy technologies and end-to-end data cycle management. So that would be difficult for a CISO to migrate now. A non-DPDPA compliant or data privacy compliant organization to a DPDPA compliant organization in next, say, 18 months or 24 months, while looking after his routine tasks also.
Okay. So from the CISO perspective, it is fine. But organizations in India, like cybersecurity is quite for some time now, and everyone understands cybersecurity. And data privacy is still new, right? And the programs in the organizations, India and globally before the data privacy regulations came into the picture, were very much aligned with the cybersecurity. So how do you see what are the how to move from the cybersecurity focused compliance program to the data privacy focused compliance program?
Yes, sir. This is the basic shift which is required in days ahead. And what I was saying, that this is where the mindset has to change. Because sir, now when we speak of the organization, they have asset-centric approach, sir. They always think that these are our server, these are our networks, these are our endpoints. They never actually look after these assets, that these are the assets which are having critical data inside them, and in case these are compromised, they would be big problem for the organization. So the mindset has to change for Indian organizations from asset-centric to data-centric viewpoints. So then we come to access control, sir.
And so I see that many of times, like the cybersecurity engineers or the professionals are only looking into whether the server is patched or not. They're not even looking into what is inside the server.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So that is, yes, sir. So that basic mindset has to change. It doesn't have to be like that this is the data. One has to look after that data as this is the data of our citizens, this is the data of our customers, and safeguarding this data is our responsibility. And then when we come to access control, sir, the DPDPA's principle of purpose limitation, as I was giving this example of a big organization, which is happening also to a large extent, that you visit a particular organization's, a particular office for some particular task, your data gets shared across the organization, and then you start receiving calls from all kind of people from that organization. You go to today a particular, car showroom for your repair of car, you receive, marketing call from other people whom you would have never interacted in your life. So that is how it is, sir. Then we need to modernize our consent and identity management things, sir. The incident response, sir. Now when we look at cyber incidents, we report till certain only. We never report it to the data principals or data subjects who are actually getting affected. So when we never actually alert them also that this is the data which has been compromised about you, and this is what you need to do to safeguard yourself. So that is a major change where the organizations have to bring in, that they have to understand that they are responsible for the customer's data's security and alerting them also in case they have undergone some particular breach. The data minimization is a very important aspect, sir. Today, even if you go to a society in your own Greater Noida or Delhi, the guard knows all kind of details less your blood group. I don't know why he leaves that, but that is how it is. He collects all data. Where are you coming from? Whom you are coming to meet? What is your car number? What is your phone number?
These days,
Sometimes
these days they have the apps. They even click your picture as well.
so they click your picture also, which is actually you've raised a very valid point. So that is very, very sensitive data. That is biometric data. So when you have
audience are also asking a few questions. I'm sorry to interrupt you in between. Audience are also asking a question, and there's a very relevant question I came across.
Sir.
Sukhomoy Devanath has asked, is there any data localization mandates as a part of the DPDPA? So
Yes,
other
sir.
guys who have posted the questions, those questions we will come to. Fine. So we'll go as per the context. Fine. Currently, like we are talking about the data and the security control. So I asked this question. I found this relevant. So, sir, is there any data localization mandate?
There is data localization mandates, sir. There are mandates on cross-border data transfers also, which are yet to emerge very clearly as to how the data has to travel, which all countries it can travel to, and where all it can't travel. Data localization as such, when we speak of, sir, there are already data localization things from various sectoral regulators like RBI and SEBI also. So that kind of things are there, but at a broader level, because that is yet to emerge. So that is why it is getting delayed also to a large extent.
So
but yes,
it would come out as a part of the rules, like what we are expecting.
So when we speak of procurement guidelines in government sector, there is already a clause that you can't be procuring items which are manufactured in countries with which India shares land borders. So a similar kind of a thing may come up. There is already a thing that certain countries would be blacklisted where the Indian citizens' data should not be going for processing. So that kind of things are there, sir. And that is for all Indian, I'll not say citizens, it is for Indian people. So when we speak of DPDPA, a very important thing is that its applicability is not only for Indian citizens, it is also for people who are in India. And while in India, their data got processed for some activity. So they are also covered by that. So their data would also be here and would be guided by DPDPA, sir.
So there's another question from Rakesh Kumar Ranjan. So he is asking, whether the DPDPA is applicable to registered companies only, or does it also apply to individuals handling personal data in a professional or commercial capacity? For example, a CA. CA is a professional, fine, or doctor is also a professional, fine, or maybe anyone who is providing any professional services. So is it only for registered companies, or these professionals are also covered under this act?
Sir, it is for everybody actually, because there may be big law firms which may just say that we are lawyers, but then they have clients and employees also in 10,000. But they may say that we are a small law firm or we are a law firm. So it is for everybody, because the data is there, only the penalty can vary. Because you see, as somebody you are saying that it's for CAs. So there are CAs who fill income tax return for say 10,000 people.
Yes.
Now those 10,000 people have their entire PAN number also shared with them. They have their other Aadhaar details also shared with them. They have given the entire financial details to them. So that doesn't actually absolve them of their responsibility. The controls which one may implement, there is a category of data fiduciary and significant data fiduciary. It doesn't give that whether an individual would be left, because somebody may say that we are an individual only. Only thing is that if you use the data for your own personal purpose, your own data, that is fine. But there is nothing like that, that an individual or a small firm or a small organization would be left. Even it's a very good thing in Indian DPDPA, sir. Leave aside organizations, you and me also, if we try to manipulate our data or furnish false information, there is a 10,000 rupees penalty on individual also. So that is the extent to it, because the best thing is that when you are delayed or you are late, you learn from the best mistakes in the world. So our DPDPA is late, because DPDPA is coming say around 8 years after GDPR.
Yes.
GDPR came in 2018, we are in 2025. So we have already learned from the mistakes which are there in GDPR, the complexities, the situations which came up there. So we've already tried to cater that, and that is why leaving any particular individual will set a complacency that see, I am not there, so I can do anything and everything.
Yeah.
So I'll just give a small example here, sir.
Yeah.
The red light is for everybody on a traffic signal. It's not that a cycle person can cross the red light, or it is only for, big trucks, or it is only for a bus, or it is only for cars. So I believe that the challans may vary, that a cycle rider may be just, given a warning and left, whereas a big car would be given a challan of 10,000 rupees. But yes, the red light is for everybody. That is how I'll,
So
elaborate
cyclist
on
is also posing a equal threat to the others, because if it comes in
absolutely.
the way, it's causing equal threat to the others. Yes.
So, sir, the data, I'll just add on to that. Suppose if it's a doctor, he is a particular doctor, dealing in a very, very sensitive disease, say, for example, AIDS. Now he is treating, say, 50 people on AIDS. He is, providing consultation. He makes that data public. So those 50 people, 20 may commit suicide also because of the social stigma they may face. Because of that, they may not have told their family members also that they are undergoing treatment for this. So that is the seriousness. So
this reminds me of a case I saw. Like, there was a cosmetic surgeon. He was posting the pictures of before and after of these patients.
Sir, so it can break or make a marriage also, sir. Before and after. Even beauticians these days post, pictures of a groom and bride before and after the marriage, during the marriage, and 2 years after the marriage, on a lighter note, sir.
So there's another relevant question here is, like, how about if they share the data with the other parties, the third parties? What is the control? This is again asked by Rakesh Kumar Ranjan.
Actually, data sharing, as we had said, that explicit consent has to be taken at the time of collection itself. Is how it is. You can't share data within your organization also. If you are a big organization, you can't be sharing data of an individual. For example, I'll take a particular BFSI sector organization only. You have walked into their branch for, say, gold loan. Now, if you have gone to the branch for gold loans, they shouldn't be, sharing your data to some other loan offerings of their organization, that you start receiving calls for that, or you are, getting mails for that. So that is also not allowed. So when we talk of inter-organization transfer, that is absolutely not allowed unless the customer has explicitly given consent that, yes, I allow my data to be shared with other organizations for similar nature or for what nature. And then the other organization who have got the data, that also needs to decide and to, disclose to that individual that we have got your data from so and so organization. However, it is slightly different in US, wherein people can, sell off their data also for certain things, and then they get money also in turn of that. But that is in US only and nowhere else, I suppose, globally. So sharing data is absolutely no, because that would create problem, and that is a very, very basic, I'll say you are deviating from the basics of data privacy, and you are risking a data subject.
If they allow in India also to sell their data, probably people are selling the blood also, they will sell their data as well.
So that is why maybe they are not allowed, sir.
Okay. So coming to the incident management. So how this incident response in terms of data breach is different from the cybersecurity and data privacy?
So the cybersecurity data breach only has organizational implications, wherein the organization may face, various, I'll say, business losses, that their thing would come in newspaper that they have undergone a cybersecurity incident. I'll take that example of that company only, which I said initially. That company is back in business. Those people who were there, they would have suffered whatever they have suffered. But the thing is that in data privacy, when you face a particular incident, if it is a particular kind of data or a particular volume of data, you need to inform the data subjects also, which is not there in cybersecurity. In cybersecurity, you have faced an incident, you only keep it to yourself. Sometimes there are cases wherein it is not informed also. The organization at their own level, somehow make it go good again, and then that's the end of it. But in data privacy, you need to tell that, this particular data, say if it is, we had very recent data breaches from, I suppose, Big Basket is one of them, then Zomato data breach, all kind of data breaches. So never these organizations told the data subjects or data principals that your data has been compromised. And if they have stored data in different buckets, what all, fields have got compromised. If your address has got compromised, your mobile number has got compromised, your credit card details have got compromised. Because if suppose somebody's credit card details have got compromised, Now, this is a particular company which was storing your credit card data. It has got compromised, and they are dealing with it just like another cyber incident. But in the meantime, that data comes on dark web to be offered for sale. Now, that credit card may be used immediately for illegal activities, or it may get used for illegal activities subsequently. So that would create a very big problem for that individual, not only in terms of financial losses, but also if it is used for a dark web, deep web kind of illegal transactions. He may be summoned by various court and police later for no mistake of his, because he was never aware only that his credit card details have been leaked. So the primary difference is that in a DPDPA era, you also need to inform the customers or your employees, because your employees are also giving you a lot of data from the time of their recruitment till their retirement or superannuation or job change. So in case you are storing data of your employee, you have never told them that you have undergone a data breach, because sometime it would have been only in the infosec vertical that people got to know, and they never informed the other office verticals also that this has happened in the organization. So that would change, sir, because if that comes into light that this has happened and it was not informed, the penalty is in the multiples of 250 crores. So we can understand that what kind of penalty will come up, because that penalty would compensate for the GST slab change. So much of penalty is there.
Okay.
So it is as good as GST, sir.
Okay. So then how do we measure that how well a program is performing? When in cybersecurity, like there are a lot of literature also available, people can refer to that, how they can do the performance evaluation. Even the standard also talks about identifying the metrics and doing the performance evaluation. So when it comes to data privacy, right? So the same metrics can work for data privacy as well, or there will be some different kind of measurement we need to like evaluate to understand like where we are, how mature our program is.
Yes, sir. The thing is that first, in cybersecurity and other places, we have something like KRI and KPIs. So we'll equate this to say key performance indicators of our things which are there. So in cybersecurity, as you have rightly said, we have something like MTTD or MTTR, or the number of attacks which we have prevented, the DDoSes which were coming and we have successfully killed them, the various threat indicators which we could locate, threat hunting activities what we have done. But when we speak of privacy, sir, we would be measuring that in terms of the number of data subject requests or rights requests which are coming to us. Because if a data subject is confident on our organization's data privacy, policies and our procedures, they may not be, questioning us again and again that where is my data, how you are using it. Because if they are convinced and they are confident, that won't come. Then the question of consent opt-in and opt-out rates. What is consent opt-in? Consent opt-in is such that when we see on a particular website or on a particular service, there are box wherein we need to tick mark to give our consent. Or, we need to, in US, we have opt-out, that the consent box is already pre-ticked out. So if a person is confident, he would give a consent opt-in. Or if it's US market, he would continue to be opted in, he won't opt out of that. So if an organization is having a good reputation, people will in Indian scenario or in European Union would immediately opt in. They would not close down that web page after seeing that okay, this is what they are asking, so let me not take a chance with my data by opting in for the activities which they are referring. Then the way we have, or the DPO office have responded to the data access, the data subject requests which are coming, whether it is for deletion, whether it is for updation, for their own access, asking for a copy of their data, what kind of timelines we are responding in. Because if we have mature processes, we would be able to respond to these requests in some kind of time. But if they are continuing for weeks together, that means that our processes are poor. Then similarly, sir, the way we are retaining data, the destruction of the data, whether we are able to do it in time, whether we have certain tools and technologies which are there, which are marking the data at the time of collection only, that this is the financial data which has been collected and this is to be destroyed, say, by after 7 years. Similarly, the number of privacy trainings which have been completed in a particular organization, the assessment scores, their subsequently in future, sir, we'll be having the assessment by the Data Protection Board in India, what kind of observations have come there. the privacy by design is something which is akin to security by design, how much progress we have made in that, what kind of tool technologies we are doing, and so on. So that's a list, sir. But again, it is more or less derived from cybersecurity only. So this is how we will be able to measure the effectiveness or the confidence score of citizens or customers on a particular organization.
Some of the cybersecurity measurements we need to tweak to accommodate data privacy experts, and there will be many new like kind of data subject requests and all. There will be many new as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That
So,
is this.
Yeah. So when it comes to like the GDPR, comparing with I'm taking example GDPR because it's the most common, everyone knows about it, right? So
Yes,
the
sir.
GDPR with the DPDPA, right? What do you see is the similarities and differences?
So when we speak of GDPR and DPDPA, more or less similar only, sir, because when I said initially also, you can't be preparing something new. If A stands for Apple in most of the nursery books, A stands for Apple only. If you start making A for something anaconda or something, the child would get confused. More or less it is same. The only thing which is different is, sir, the difference is in terms of the data processor. The European Union's GDPR fixes responsibility on processors also. That in case the processors are not living up to the requirements of data protection, they would also be penalized. But the Indian DPDPA puts the entire responsibility on the data controller or data fiduciary. So here the thing is that the data processor, whosoever he is, he can walk out of a particular breach. At least the law says so. So you have to make your own controls and your own, clauses in your contracts wherein you can hold the data processor also responsible. You also need to have appropriate audit mechanisms of your data processors, because not all organizations would be able to do everything by their own. For example, if you are a very big bank, you would be hiring somebody to make the credit card and debit cards for you. You would be sharing some details with them. Yeah. So at your bank, you may have best of the procedures, but if that logistic partner who's preparing your credit card is not, adhering by similar kind of controls, he may make a very big breach. And you may do whatever you can do in your bank. So you have to have that. And the second important thing is that the emphasis which is there on the data principles also, the responsibility which has been imposed upon them to keep their data accurate and not to manipulate it, not to create fraud, because that is a penalty here which is not there. Okay. So these are certain, I'll say, good things which are there in DPDPA over and above what GDPR says.
This answers one of the question asked by Alup Roy as well. He asked that our penalties automatically transfer to third parties. So it is not in DPDPA.
No, sir. You have to make in your own contracts various clauses to pass that. In case you have failed to do, your legal team has not, included those appropriate clauses, you would be the only one paying as the organization the entire penalty. And as it is, you can't do much to processor. At least you should have done your due diligence at the time of choosing that processor. You can't be saying at a later stage that because nobody forced you to choose a particular processor. You have done it for yourself. So you need to devise your own ways and means to control them.
So DPDPA is also bringing in a lot of opportunities for legal counsels as well now.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So, Joshi, we have 7 minutes left. So I would like to ask something more futuristic. How do you see this DPDP Act is getting enforced in coming days? How do you see it will take some time to stabilize? But how do you see India after next 5 years?
Sir, it's a very good thing that it is going to be there soon. It would help us, take control of our fundamental right of privacy, especially vulnerable groups, whether, it is a particular gender or it is a particular age group like children's data, elderly people, vulnerable sections of the society, they would have better control of their data. That is on the fundamental right side. But when I speak of organization side, sir, we would have an integrated governance. The CISOs, DPOs, the compliance heads who are there, they would be working together as a team under a unified GRC. Because when we see in various organizations, already the GRC teams or the GRCP teams which are there, they are also already looking after, say, ISO 27001. They are also looking after ISO 27701. Now they would also be looking after the DPDPA aspects as well. So that becomes a unified integrated governance approach or framework which we would be moving in slowly. And then when we speak of technology, sir, we'll have a flavor of privacy enhancing technologies also getting introduced, like the homomorphic encryption, the differential privacies, the secure multi-party computations. So all of them are there. Then a much higher level of accountability because of DPDPA will come on board, because the penalties which are there, the kind of headlines which are there, which will come out of data breaches which are not coming now. So that would actually lead to much greater involvement in data privacy things, and would benefit, I think, cybersecurity also to a large extent, because till now, as you were saying, that at certain organizations, I will not say that in all organizations, but yes, in certain organizations, cybersecurity may also be seen as a cost center and not as a revenue center. But when people will see that, an organization in a similar business like mine have got a penalty of say 250 crores, I will automatically start a meeting next very hour in my own organization that what we are doing not to, get a penalty of 250 crores. So that will increase the accountability and involvement of senior leadership in cybersecurity and data privacy. Then the organizational culture will also change, because not only the data of customers is to be guarded, the employees will also become more aware. Today, everybody is giving their biometric everywhere in an organization. Every time if you go to cafeteria, you mark your biometric here, there, you log into your machine, you give your biometric, your face is scanned every time you move out of office. That would also come to a halt. Because if you are handling treasury of a bank, then it is fine. But if you are in a normal ATM, wherein there is hardly any cash, why should you be monitored in that kind of strict regime? What is not required? So these are the major things which are going to change, sir. And absolutely, the culture and the mindset is the biggest thing which will change. And all these things will eventually lead, as we started in the initial conversation, would eventually lead in securing the security of the nation's borders, also the porous digital borders, which are actually non-existent. So that will also get benefited, sir.
And sir, what is your advice for the organizations, for the audience, because everyone is employed somewhere, right? So what we advise, what they should start working on?
So the first thing what I have, I attended my first data privacy conference in Delhi 2 years back. So that was in Gurgaon. So I could sense at that point in time only that many organizations have, already started doing their data discovery. They have started, taking consents in a proper format. They have, for example, there are aviation sector, organizations which are already, when they give you a boarding pass or they give you a web check-in, they take various kind of consents from you. There are other organizations in a similar sector which don't take. So those organizations will not be able to complete, if there is some window given for compliance also. So my request is that we should immediately start looking inwards, start at least doing data discovery, because our data is spread out at so many places. Like I said, that for a bank, the data may be going to somebody who was giving a offer on your credit card. If say I am X bank,
the postman service.
Yes, so that is also there. So, sir, we need to immediately start with our data discovery. We immediately need to look at our data minimization, whether what kind of data we are collecting, whether we actually require it. We also need to understand if we are having surplus data, which is way beyond its useful life. Like, for example, I'll just tell you, day before yesterday or maybe 2-3 days back, it was a headline in, newspaper that UIDAI has deactivated X crore of data of deceased people. Okay. So that is the indicator that, a big organization like that has done that. But there are many other organizations which are holding data of people who have died 10 years back, who are not doing any transaction, who are not actively, involved in the day-to-day transactions of that organization, but they are keeping the data. Now, if that data gets breached, whether that data was of a deceased person or a person who's alive, the penalties would be invited. So we also need to look for our data retention policies. Data purpose limitation also we need to seek. We immediately need to, stop sharing data here and there without consent, because the day it comes, it would be difficult and penalties are so harsh. And we understand that once it is fresh, there will be organizations which would get trapped on that. So we need to immediately start working on at least these, have some kind of data privacy champions in the organization, whether we are employing a DPO or not, but at least we should start making a place for him or her to sit, some kind of team recruitment, because suddenly these people will also be, very, very short. there are limited number of people who have done various certifications in data privacy. So that's what I said initially also. If our cybersecurity folks can realign themselves, can do some basic certification in cybersecurity, or at least have a know-how, or can map their skill set, as we were discussing, that if they have handled, say, PAM, or if they have been a track lead for identity and access management, they can always write in their resume as somebody who has been involved with logging of activities. If they have been involved in, say, encryption of database, they can always say as a data protection thing. If they have been into incident response teams, they can always say that we have been into incident response team of sensitive data breaches or something like that. So this is a very big opportunity for our cybersecurity folks to realign their, I'll say, career and also their resumes, so that they can leverage this particular opportunity which is coming, sir.
It's a very, very, very wonderful thing, probably for our audience. So audience, I have not taken few questions because of the two reasons. One is few of the clarities we still don't have because the rules are still not out. And some of you asked the questions about the laboratory, the proprietary data, commercial data. So I would like to reinstate that this is only about personal data, right? Not about the confidential data, proprietary data. This law is only about the personal data. If you're dealing with personal data, has nothing to do with the source code. Right. So it is a different perspective, and the remaining questions are probably again we could not find that we can fit those questions into this session because of the limitation of time, and many of them are like the kind of the repetitions of the what the Colonel Joshi has already described about it.
So right. people can reach out to me on LinkedIn or some other platform, and whatever best I can answer, I will definitely try to answer there as well, sir.
Yeah, so you guys can reach out to Colonel Joshi and to us as a chapter. We have a website, ISU2 Delhi-NCR chapter.in, and Colonel Joshi LinkedIn profile is also available on our website. Right, on our website we have all our board members' profiles listed there. When you can reach out to us separately, you can connect with the Colonel Joshi over the LinkedIn, and you can ask questions from him directly. So thank you, Colonel Joshi. It was really, really very insightful information, and many of the things were new to me as well, right? And I learned a lot from you in today's session, and it was wonderful session. And I believe our audience also enjoyed. And audience, the recording will be posted on YouTube as well. And those who could not attend, or those who want to revisit, right, who attended late or dropped earlier, they can revisit our website. The recording will be available on our website as well as on the YouTube. Right? So you can learn, and we hope to see you in the next session. The next session will be in the next month. It's already announced. It is the information is available on our website.
Thank you very much, sir.
Joshi.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a good day, sir.
What you would have to say to our audience?
No, sir, last thought is that only that this is a very golden opportunity for cybersecurity professionals, both as an individual to grow in career and also to contribute to be a pioneer in nation cybersecurity, because cybersecurity is having a very, very close touch point with data privacy. So anybody who's guarding data of the country's citizens, he is in fact guarding the country. I'll say that they are as good as soldiers in case they are contributing to data privacy and protection. So I urge all the cybersecurity professionals to continue doing the great work they are doing, because whether DPDPA is there or not there, the only things are those 2-3 which I said. But the cybersecurity professionals, by virtue of their day-to-day tasks, are already guarding the country's frontiers by guarding the data of its citizens. It will get structured with DPDPA, but I'll say that in our routine work as cybersecurity teams, we are doing whatever we can do for the country, and we should continue to do that, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, many of you, if you don't have joined our WhatsApp channel, so you can fill up the form on our website, and we'll add you to our WhatsApp channel. There, Colonel Joshi is also available. I'm available. Our president is available, and many other senior folks are available. So you can ask questions there as well. So thank you so much for attending, and we hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Colonel Joshi. Thank you, Mr. Kabir, for organizing this and arranging this. All this technology is it's been sponsored by you only. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Colonel Joshi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.